Imagine owning a tiny PC, so weak it can barely do anything, and it only cost me 35 bucks. Yeah, I picked it up on eBay. Cheap doesn't always mean usable. This thing had all the usual problems: random crashes, weird glitches, and honestly, just figuring out what was wrong was exhausting. But after fixing it, it finally started working the way it should. And that's when I had an idea. What if I push it further? Turn it into something actually useful? So today, let's take a closer look at this little machine and see what it can really become. So this right here is a Dell Optiplex 3060 Micro. It's actually very similar to one I owned before, but compared to the Lenovo P320 that I picked up recently, this Dell is much harder to upgrade. And the main reason is, it doesn't have a PCIe slot like the Lenovo. And honestly, that's one of the biggest limitations of these mini PC systems. You're extremely restricted when it comes to upgrades. Here's the not so good news. These things are still being sold everywhere online, and if you happen to buy one, this might be one way to boost performance by up to 10 times. But before we get into the upgrades, let's check its current condition. Because of the low price, the seller didn't include any storage at all, and for RAM, there's only a single 4GB stick. The CPU inside is a G5400, and yeah, it's definitely not a powerful chip. It didn't even come with basic accessories, no charger, nothing. So I had to use one of my own. And then, something really concerning started happening. The system keeps powering on and shutting off repeatedly. And honestly, that's one of the worst things you can see on a PC. At this point, I'm thinking, did I just get scammed? Alright, let's try swapping the RAM. Different stick, different slot, but no, same issue. Then I remembered I can actually diagnose the problem using the BIOS LED codes. It flashes 2 times, then 7 times. According to the manufacturer, that usually points to a RAM issue, but the thing is, I already tried different RAM, and nothing changed. So now I'm starting to suspect the CPU, and then, oh, what? This thing is burning hot. This is a low-power CPU. There's no way it should be this hot. It was literally almost burning my hand. So yeah, something is definitely wrong with this CPU. Alright, I'm going to test this CPU in another system. And yeah, no, it's completely dead. And just to be clear, this thing gets extremely hot, way hotter than it should. So yeah, it probably overheated and killed itself. Alright, I'm setting that aside. Let's go back to the mini PC and try a different CPU, but now there's another issue. The LED is flashing 2 times, then 5 times. So I checked the error code list again, and now it's pointing to a BIOS issue. At this point, I'm honestly feeling pretty stuck. Like, nothing is going right. I was this close to giving up, but let's try one more thing. Reset the BIOS. The process is a bit tedious. First, unplug the power, then remove the CliMOS battery, move the jumper to the reset position, and hold the power button for about 5 to 10 seconds. After that, we wait and see if the system boots. Oh shit, no way. It actually booted. I can't believe this is real. Looks like the previous owner just messed up the BIOS settings. Honestly, I got really lucky this thing wasn't completely dead. Otherwise, this whole video would have been a total failure. Now, let's move on to the next step, upgrading. There's no way I'm gaming on just the iGPU, so I need to add a dedicated GPU, but there's a problem. There's no PCIe slot, so where do we even plug it in? At this point, I have no choice but to use an NVMe to PCIe by 16 adapter, which costs about $10. And just like that, I can now run pretty much any GPU I want. For this build, I'm going with an AMD Radeon RX 6600 with 8GB full RAM. Right now, you can find it for around $200, and honestly, it's one of the best price-to-performance GPUs for 1080p gaming. That said, there are slightly better options, like the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Super 8GB. It performs a bit better, but also consumes more power. But now comes the big question: how do I power this GPU? Because it needs an 8-pin connector, while this system is running on a simple power adapter. So yeah, that's not going to work. But the solution is actually pretty simple. I'll just use a separate PSU. I'm going with a 600-watt PSU, mainly because it's the only one I have. So all I need to do is short pins 4 and 5 on the connector, and the PSU will turn on next. The CPU. The G5400 is officially out, so I spent $46 on an i5-9400F. And yeah, the F means no iGPU, which is why it's significantly cheaper than the regular version. For RAM, I'm removing the single 4GB stick and upgrading to 2 times 8GB, which cost me about $50. I know it's a bit of a waste since this system only has 2 slots, but honestly, 16GB is the sweet spot these days. Next up, storage. A 500GB SSD, which you can usually find for around $30. Alright, time to hook everything up and see if it all works together. I'll need to power on the GPU first. And perfect. The system detects all the components. But yeah, this setup is a mess. Cables everywhere. Nothing looks clean or organized. So I'm definitely going to need a better solution for that. I just remembered, I actually have a mini case lying around. I measured it, and surprisingly, it fits this setup pretty well. So yeah, I'm going to take everything apart and move this motherboard into a new home. Since this case wasn't designed for this board, I'll need to mark and drill new mounting points to properly secure the motherboard. I'm not going to drill anything too big, just enough for the standoffs to hold it in place. One more really important step, cooling. The original cooler is designed to mount directly onto standoffs that are fixed to the case. So in this new setup, I basically have nowhere to mount it. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any mounting bracket that fits this motherboard. So I came up with a pretty bold idea. I took a standard cooler bracket, cut it into 4 separate pieces, and turned them into independent mounting points. Basically, they act like the 4 legs of a mounting frame. All I had to do was line them up, tighten the screws, and just like that, the cooler is held in place nice and secure. After that, it's pretty simple. Drop the motherboard in, tighten the screws like normal, and we're good. Next, the PSU. I'm placing it at the bottom and only keeping the cables I actually need. Anything unnecessary, I'm removing to keep things clean. Then the GPU goes in the back. There's actually a lot of space there, so fitting it in isn't a problem at all. At this point, it's just about managing the cables and keeping everything neat and organized. And just like that, we now have a much more compact mini PC build. Alright, let's see what kind of performance this thing can deliver. First up, Minecraft. At 1080p with 32 chunks, the overall experience is pretty decent. FPS fluctuates quite a bit, anywhere from over 100 up to 200 FPS, but there are moments where it drops to around 70. And when you look at the system, the CPU is basically pinned at 100% the entire time. Which honestly isn't surprising. This Dell Mini motherboard was designed for office use, not for heavy CPU workloads like Minecraft. And more importantly, we're running the GPU through an NVMe to PCIe adapter. That means the card is only running at PCIe by 4 bandwidth, instead of by 16 like a normal desktop. So yeah, there's definitely some performance loss there, usually around 10 to 20% depending on the scenario. But things start to change when I turn on shaders. Still at 32 chunks, but now the GPU takes over most of the workload. The CPU usage drops noticeably, and the card starts running at full capacity. The result? A much more stable 50 to 60 FPS. And honestly, it looks amazing. Next, CS2, 1080p, low settings. FPS ranges from 70 to 120, depending on the scene. No stuttering, no major drops. Even in deathmatch, it's completely playable. Moving on to Tomb Raider, 1080p high settings. FPS stays above 100 consistently. Everything feels smooth and responsive. At this point, the CPU and GPU are well balanced. Probably the best case scenario for this setup. Now let's try Fortnite. 1080p low, DX12, and once again, the CPU hits 100%. FPS sits around 60 to 80. Still playable, still decent, but clearly the CPU is the bottleneck here. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077. 1080p, low settings. FPS is in the range of 45 to 60. Not amazing, but definitely playable. Overall, this system performs better than I expected, but there's one question I'm really curious about. Is this GPU being held back by this mini PC? Because at the end of the day, it's only running at PCIe by 4, so now I'm going to install it into a full PCIe by 16 system and see what kind of difference it makes. And yeah, the result is pretty clear. FPS is almost double compared to x4, which means this GPU still has a lot of untapped potential. At this point, we could even push it up to 2K and still get a smooth experience. So yeah, I've taken this tiny office PC to a whole new level. But at the end of the day, it's still an office system, which means there are limitations. Power delivery, upgrade paths, especially the CPU. What do you think about this build? Let me know down in the comments.